After 30 years of marriage, LL Cool J and his wife Simone Smith had lived through moments of joy, pain, and challenges that could have broken even the strongest bond. To the world, they were the picture of love and success, red carpet smiles, glamorous events, and a family that seemed unshakable. But behind those perfect photos, destiny took an unexpected turn. You won't believe how quickly their lives went from the height of happiness to a battle that threatened to take everything away. Let me tell you, this is how it all began. Long before the world knew them as one of the most loyal couples in entertainment, Simone was carving out her own path. Born and raised in Queens, New York, she grew up in the same tough streets as her future husband. She had dreams of her own, a personality that could light up any room, and a style that made her stand out wherever she went. It was in the mid-1980s when LL Cool J was just starting to make noise in the rap game that they first crossed paths. At first, it was just friendship, innocent laughs, casual conversations, but slowly, something deeper began to grow. Neither of them could have guessed that the real test of their love would come decades later. As LL's career exploded, fame brought temptations and whispers from the industry. There were always questions about whether their relationship could survive the pressure of tours, late nights, and the constant spotlight. But Simone stood by him, and together they built a family, raising children while navigating the unpredictable world of music and fame. What makes this story different is that their toughest battle didn't come from the outside world. It came from something they never saw coming. In 2004, Simone began feeling strange aches in her leg, along with swelling that wouldn't go away. At first, she thought it was nothing serious, maybe an old injury or just exhaustion. But when the pain grew worse, doctors began running tests. Then came the news that changed everything. She was diagnosed with a rare bone cancer called chondrosarcoma. But here is the shocking part. It wasn't just a small tumor or a simple surgery. The doctors told her that to save her life, they would have to remove her entire tibia bone and replace it with her fibula from the other leg. This meant not just a long recovery, but the possibility of never walking the same way again. This is where it gets interesting. LL Cool J, known for his energy, confidence, and unstoppable career, didn't hesitate for a second. He put everything on hold, concerts, deals, opportunities, just to be there for her. While the world expected him to keep moving forward with his music, he chose to stand still and fight this battle alongside his wife. The craziest part is how quickly their glamorous life turned into endless hospital visits, late-night worries, and a fight for survival. Friends who knew them said this was the moment that stripped away all the fame and showed the real heart of their marriage. The surgery was nothing short of life-changing. Simone went into the operating room knowing that when she woke up, her leg would never be the same. Doctors removed her entire tibia, replacing it with her fibula from the other leg. The process was intense, and the recovery was expected to take not weeks or months, but possibly more than 2 years. She woke up in pain, so sharp it felt like it cut through her very soul. But here is the shocking part. This wasn't just about physical healing. This was about learning how to walk again, how to stand without collapsing, and how to live without the life she once knew. Every single day became a new challenge. The smallest movements, getting out of bed, walking a few steps, felt like climbing a mountain. Swelling, discomfort, and muscle weakness became constant reminders of what she had lost. But through it all, LL Cool J never left her side. He drove her to every appointment, waited for hours in cold hospital corridors, and cheered for her smallest victories, like they were major milestones. Let me tell you, not everyone in his position would have done that. The craziest part is how he managed to make her feel loved and valued when she sometimes felt like a burden. There were days when Simone's spirit was low. She would cry quietly, wondering if she would ever chase her kids around the house again or wear heels on a night out. She admitted in interviews that sometimes the mental struggle was harder than the physical one. And this is where it gets interesting, because LLL didn't just support her, he protected her. He shielded her from gossip, from industry pressure, and from anyone who might make her feel weak. He refused to let her story become a sad headline. What makes this story different is how they turned this dark chapter into a deeper connection. In the silence of the night, when he would help her out of bed or bring her water without her asking, she realized the depth of his love. These were not grand gestures for cameras, they were quiet acts of loyalty that no one else saw. He told her that her life was more important than any stage, any album, or any award. And he meant it. Friends and family started to notice a change, not just in Simone, but in LL too. Fame didn't seem to matter as much to him anymore. His focus was entirely on making sure she recovered, no matter how long it took. But here is the shocking part. They both knew that their marriage was being rebuilt from the ground up, and it was becoming stronger than ever before. As months turned into years, Simone's recovery became a long, winding road filled with small victories and unexpected setbacks. There were moments when she managed to walk a few steps without assistance, and LL would celebrate like they had just won a championship. But there were also nights when the pain kept her awake and frustration brought her to tears. Let me tell you, the craziest part was that even during those hardest times, LL never showed signs of weariness. He stood firm, as if his strength alone could carry them both through. Simone often said that cancer didn't just attack her body, it tested their faith, their patience, and their trust in each other. This is where it gets interesting. Instead of breaking apart under the weight of it all, they began to communicate more deeply than they ever had before. They spoke about fears, dreams, and the fragility of life. LL would often remind her, "We're in this together," and those simple words became her anchor. But here is the shocking part. Behind the scenes, LL was turning down huge opportunities. Record deals, acting roles, and tours were all pushed aside. The world couldn't understand why one of the biggest names in hip-hop seemed to vanish from the spotlight, but the truth was simple. Nothing mattered more than his wife's health. In an industry where loyalty can be rare, his commitment stood out like a bright light in a dark room. Simone's progress was slow but steady. She started gaining confidence in her steps, managing to walk longer distances, and even enjoy small outings again. But every milestone came with the reminder of how far they had come and how much they had endured together. What makes this story different is that instead of seeing the cancer as something that took away years of their life, they saw it as the force that stripped away all distractions and left only what truly mattered: love, faith, and family. And just when it seemed like their battle was finally over, destiny took an unexpected turn. Simone decided that her journey couldn't just end with her own survival. She wanted to use her voice and her platform to help others facing similar battles, and this decision would take them both into a new chapter neither of them had imagined. After regaining her strength, Simone refused to simply move on as if nothing had happened. She knew her survival carried a purpose. Let me tell you, this is how her second fight began, not against cancer this time, but against hopelessness in others. She launched her own jewelry line, not just as a business, but as a way to give back. A portion of every sale went toward cancer research and support programs, ensuring that other patients would have the help and hope they needed. LL stood beside her every step of the way, attending charity events, speaking about early detection, and using his own platform to spread awareness. But here is the shocking part. When Simone and LL began sharing their story publicly, it didn't just inspire strangers, it restored faith and love for people who had almost given up on it. Fans, cancer survivors, and even celebrities poured in messages thanking them for showing that true devotion still exists. Social media lit up with stories from people who had been touched by their journey. The craziest part was seeing how a battle they never asked for became a source of hope for thousands. This is where it gets interesting. In an entertainment industry obsessed with scandal and drama, their love story became the exact opposite, a headline about loyalty, patience, and faith. Big names like Mary J. Blige, Queen Latifah, and Taraji P. Henson publicly praised them. Talk shows invited them to speak, and every time they did, they left audiences in tears. They reminded the world that the real measure of love isn't in grand public gestures, but in the quiet, private acts when no one is watching. What makes this story different is that it's not just about surviving cancer, it's about surviving together. They showed that in sickness and in health isn't just a vow for the wedding day, but a promise to be lived every day after. And even now, years later, LL and Simone continue to inspire couples to stand by each other through life's storms. In the end, destiny took an unexpected turn for them, but it turned into something beautiful. Their story stands as proof that real, loyal, and patient love can endure even the darkest chapters. And in a world where relationships often crumble under pressure, LL Cool J and Simone Smith proved that when two people truly fight for each other, nothing, not even cancer, can break them.